Hello and welcome back to Extension Labs. This lab is for BA Publisher formatting. Our objective is to familiarize with the concepts of formatting using XDOFX functions. We are going to look at how to check for is null, how to pad it, how to format dates, currency, and how to manipulate string. Let's get started. But this time I'm assuming that the BA Publisher add-in is installed in your PC. So let's start with the basic concepts of formatting. We're going to change the element from an uppercase, lowercase, or lowercase to uppercase by using the XDOFX allower element name function. And similarly, XDOFX upper would convert the element output into a uppercase format. For numbering, you put format number, the element. Then you have this G. The G is 1000 separator. So I can have a D for decimal. If I want to add a local currency, if I want to format the number using the local currency, I would put the L, then the G, which is the 1000 separator, and the D, which is the decimal separator. MI represents the minus or a sign symbol, and in the last example I have here, I'm formatting the element for the currency USD. Here's the syntax for it. You can also see that there is this parenthesis, which is the right and left parenthesis for the showing the negative numbers, and the page break using XSL attribute break before or after page. Let's look at some examples. I have an example here. It's a simple template. For this template I am going to use this XML file. I'm going to load the XML file first. So in this example we are going to look at the formatting that we looked at the slides. So here, let's run it first and see what happens. See, here we have the lower, the upper, the cost formatting, the local currency. So we have the lower, it changes all the element into a lowercase. The same element is now made as an upper. You can see the 1000 separator working, the local currency. So in this number formatting added zeros explicitly in the zeros to show zeros in the front. MI represents the minus because I multiply the number by -1, and I have a page break using XML, which is down at the bottom. So the same data is repeated for it's a page before. So let's see what happens if you do a page after. Okay, now let's move on to string manipulation. Especially useful. String manipulation functions are in string. The syntax is XDOFX in string, the element name. Then we are going to in string we are going to search for the term company from the first position. There's a substring from position 1 to 10. Here's the length, which will get the length of the element or length of the value in the element. Left and right would get it's like substring. I'm going to specify I need the 10 elements from the left side. If I specify right, it get the right side. Trim, of course, trim out the spaces. Truncate would round the number. replicate would in this case it's going to replicate this asterisk 35 times. To number would convert a string to a number. Note that you cannot convert ABC to number. Let's look at look at some live examples before we move into data, but date formatting. Here is a sample template. I will be using the XML file sample data xdofx XML. I'm loading the data. So we are going to look at int string first. In the int string, I'm going to search for a specific character from position 1. Here I'm searching for a number. I mean, you can do multiple ways of doing int string here. There's a substring, the length, left, right, trim, truncate. I'm going to replicate the number. And say, let's run this and see how it comes out to be. I'm going to run this here. So here we can see the int string is 23. If we look at the definition, we were looking for the term company from position 1. So the text had Jericho Products Company, so it's it starts at the 26th position. The next case, we're looking for position number 0. So in this case it was 10, so second position. Here we were looking for the line number with a dash, so the position is 1 space dash, it's the third position. Here we are doing a substring. It's pretty straightforward. If you look at the replicate, I'm replicating the asterisk 35 times. So if I truncate 27.33, it's going to truncate to 27. If I do 28, if I say for 2 decimals, it's going to truncate to 2.87. If I truncate to -1, it's going to get to the next lowest integer, which is 20. And you can trim, and you can also check the length after trim too. Let's do that. So I'm going to do a length after trim. Let's continue on with the date formatting. So default date format is YYYMMDD or YYYMMDD the timestamp. The system date can be retrieved through the function sysdate. The formatting for date is format date p, the element name, and short for date format. Then you get a medium and a long format. Let's look at some examples. In this template, we are going to play with date formatting in multiple ways. To practice formatting, I'm going to load the template, date magic XML. So let's run it first. So I have different formats here: short, long. Let's run it and see how it appears first. So you can see the original formatting is 2014 03. That's the default date. But in Oracle date is 31st March 2013. If you notice that the Aura date is not converted over, as the date came in a different format than expected. So the date should come in this format in order to be manipulated within the XML publisher template. So in order to get the system date, you use xdofx system date. To get the date, you run the set variable runtime. Okay, let me check on that. To get the month piece part of the date, you format the date and extract month from it. Please note that the date should be of the format YYYMMDD. and the month name, you have to type in 4 M's or month. So for getting the extracting the day, you type in day or day V. Similarly, the year portion would be YY or YYYY. Let's run this. So you can see again the month. Month can be obtained by M or a month. The day can be a number, or you can specify DAY, year and year. Let's look at some currency formatting example before we proceed to other formatting. So in this case, we are going to specify the local currency, which is based on your computer setting. Here I'm formatting it by USD, and we can pass the currency code and would format the amount accordingly. Let's try it on it. I'm using the XML currency magic XML, and I'm going to preview. So you can see the number formatting, the local. So in my computer, the local currency is not set properly. So here I can see the USD. Here I've used a different, I'm passing different currencies and the formatting of this. Let's move on to other examples. Let's look at how to concatenate two fields. You can either use concat or XUFX, just concatenate, like a SQL function. You can also use decode if you want to decode a value, if it's null, then null, or not null. It's like an if. Decode is like an if else, of course. If the asset is null, then display null. If the asset is 20, blah blah. So XSL, we already covered variables. If not, we're covering it again. XXL, we define variables through XXL variable name, and we initialize the value. So you can use the setter method is this. The getter method is use a dollar symbol and the variable name. You should note that the case is a case sensitive. So if you defined a variable with x lowercase, y uppercase, z lowercase, to retrieve it back, you need to use the same formatting. It's easy to initialize variables. Unfortunately, we cannot use this variable in computation. So there is another way to define variables. Here's a setter method, xdoxlt set variable name, and the get method. So in order to use in computation, you can use a set method again, or you can use the get method, and the setter is used together. Let's do some examples. Here we're going to use the template XML file, sample data XDFX, and load it. The first time I'm going to do a computation where I'm going to add cost to overhead. I'm going to subtract cost from overhead. I'm going to multiply cost to overhead. Look at the division, cost divided by overhead. You can do the same thing through cost plus overhead, cost minus. So in this case, I'm going to use a decode. So if the category asset is null, then put 0, otherwise put category. So null is indicated by the two single quotes. You can use concatenate, XDFX concatenate, or regular concatenate. You can LPAD, writepad. You can do decode. So decode, if it's null, type null, if not null. Let's try running it. Okay, you can see the first one is cost plus overhead, cost minus overhead. You can see the values here. You can see if the decode the value is null. So that here the right pad and the left pad, right padding with the dots. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple and straightforward. So that concludes our our formatting. It's primarily about how the data and strings are manipulated. There are a lot of ways to do it. Feel free to download templates and play with it. Thank you.